subject, no mind. A few weeks ago when we announced this subject, a gentleman asked me, so no mind, is so intrigued. No mind, does it mean not thinking or being unconscious? So what is this no mind? I was giving a series of lectures on the Mandukya Karika of Gaudapada. I've given 2 talks on this. I think the first one was the essence of all Vedanta, based on the first chapter of the Mandukya Karika. The second one was the ultimate truth, based on the second chapter of the Mandukya Karika. And today's talk, no mind, is based on a couple of verses in the third chapter of the Mandukya Karika. The third chapter of the Mandukya Karika is called Advaita Prakaranam, the chapter on non-duality. In the first chapter, the Upanishad was there, the Mandukya Upanishad. And the teachings of the Mandukya Upanishad are discussed in detail, are described in more detail in the second, third and fourth chapters. So, in the second chapter, what was done was, on the basis of logic, on the basis of reason and our own experience, the falsity of the world is demonstrated. That the world, Jagat Mithya, world is supposed to be an appearance in non-dual Vedanta. That is demonstrated, that is proved using logic based on our own experience. That's the second chapter of the Mandukya Karika. The third chapter of the Mandukya Karika is, the world is an appearance, but an appearance of what? What is it that is appearing as the world? The classic example in Vedanta, the rope appearing as the snake. All right, the snake is false, there's no real snake, but then what is it that is appearing as the false snake? It's the rope which is appearing as the false snake. What is it that is appearing as this false world, illusory world? It is Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss, or as we saw in the first chapter of the Mandukya Karika, the fourth aspect. Literally, the word Turiya means the fourth aspect, but we saw that it does not really mean the fourth. It means the one reality which appears as our waking experience, this one, as our dream experience, and as our deep sleep experience, that one consciousness, Turiya. That is the reality which appears as this world. Therefore, the essential teaching of Vedanta, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, Brahman alone is real and the world is an appearance. And what are we? Real or appearance? We are none other than Brahman, Jiva Brahmeva Naparaha. This thing is talked about and demonstrated in the third chapter called Advaita Prakaranam, the chapter on non-duality. And it's demonstrated with the help of reason. In the third chapter, Gaudapada tells us samsara, this problem which we have, samsara, this is duality. Duality causes samsara. And moksha, freedom, non-duality is freedom. So Advaita is moksha and Dvaita is samsara. You might say that seems unfair. Why would Dvaita be samsara, duality be samsara, in what sense? But just look at our own experience. We have duality. By the way, when Dvaita or duality, when we talk about it in Vedanta, what it means is this subject-object duality, which is the very basis of our experience of this world. I am a limited being separate from all of you. This feeling which we naturally take for granted, I am separate from all of you. You are different, I am different. This difference, this is the duality, subject-object duality. I am the experiencer and all of this is something separate from me. This subject-object duality is at the root of samsara. Take our experience. We can just look at our experience. In the waking world, is this subject-object duality there right now? Yes, we experience it. And there is samsara. There are things which we like and we are chasing it. There are things which we are scared of, afraid of, uneasy about. We try to avoid it. And thus it gives rise to strife and struggle, what we call samsara. Constant change, aging and decay and death, and probably rebirth again. So this is what we call samsara. And this goes on. This is our waking experience. Look at our dream experience. In dreams, do we have this duality, Dvaita? Yes. In dreams also, we have good dreams and bad dreams, but everywhere we also have that subject-object experience. I am experiencing something. Though later on when you wake up, you realize it was all in my mind. But in the dream, we don't feel that. In the dream, we feel I am the experiencer and this is something that I'm experiencing. The duality, subject-object duality is there. Dvaita is there. And so samsara is also there. What about deep sleep? When we completely fall asleep and we are not aware of the world, we do not dream dreams in our mind, we are not even aware of ourselves as sleeping. Deep sleep, is there samsara? We do not experience samsara in deep sleep. I sometimes say, the person with the greatest problems in the world, suppose person is sick and maybe dying and on life support in Mount Sinai or something like that, terrible condition, and insurance is not willing to pay up also. So all sorts of problems, terrible problems. And yet, when that person goes to sleep, falls asleep, deep sleep, that person has no problem. In deep sleep, even the sickest person on life support in Mount Sinai has absolutely no problem. So samsara, the sufferings of samsara are not there in deep sleep. Notice something, in deep sleep the duality is also not experienced. Subject and object are also not experienced. Duality, Dvaita is not there, or at least is not experienced in deep sleep. And so suffering, samsara is also not experienced in deep sleep. Gaudapada seems to have a point when he says, duality and samsara go together. And non-duality, where there is no subject and object, is freedom from samsara. But does that mean we have to fall asleep and stay asleep? That doesn't seem to be a solution. Though it's not as silly as it sounds, because a lot of people try to take that route. What else is, drinking, taking drugs, trying to forget our sorrows? It's basically to stop this experience of samsara. But that is no route. That is not, even Gaudapada says, actually, samsara is also there. Duality is also there in deep sleep. In what form? He says in the seed form, bijavastha. After all, deep sleep, we wake. We come out of deep sleep. And again, samsara comes back. The same body, the same physical problems, the same financial problems, relationship problems, all of them again come back. Which means in deep sleep, the problem was there, not experienced as such in deep sleep, but in the seed form, like a computer being switched off. When you switch it on, all the data is still there. Good and the bad, everything is still stored, it all comes back. So deep sleep is no permanent solution. Then Gaudapada, how do we solve this problem of samsara, of duality? Even Shankaracharya in his introduction to the Mandukya Karika, he says, Rogartasya roga nivritti eva swasthata. Just as for a sick person, we seem to be on the Mount Sinai example again. Shankaracharya, 1400 years ago, he gives the same example. Just as for a sick person, curing the disease is attainment of health. Health is basically getting rid of the disease. Health is the natural state. Similarly, he says, the cessation of duality, that non-duality, which is the cessation of duality, that is liberation. Duality is bondage, Dvaita is bondage, and Advaita, non-duality, is liberation. He says, the duality of what kind? When the rope appears as the snake, and we realize the snake is nothing other than the rope. That means, in a sense, the snake sort of, in a way you can say, it merges back into the rope. Actually, there was no snake. There was a misperception. In the same way, when non-duality is misperceived as a dual universe, samsara is there. When we realize the non-duality here and now, samsara is not there. So Shankaracharya also agrees. Duality, samsara, non-duality, moksha, liberation. So how do we go about it? In the 3rd chapter, 31st verse, Gaudapada Acharya, who is, by the way, Shankaracharya's teacher's teacher. When you study the Mandukya Karika and you study Shankaracharya's works, you seem to see, quite naturally, a change in the tone. Gaudapada seems to be much more extreme, what you might call hardcore non-dualist. Shankaracharya's range is much broader. I asked a Swami in the Himalayas, do you think that there is a difference between Gaudapada and Shankara? And why does Gaudapada seem to be more hardcore non-dualist, giving no quarter? Then that Swami said, in the typical Hindi of that place, in the Uttaranchal, in the Himalayas, he said, Gaudapada Acharya to bahut fakkad Mahatma the. Gaudapada was, see the word fakkad it has different meanings in India. In the lower regions, in the plains, it means a beggar. Like what you might call a hobo here. I don't know if there are any more hobos, but so like a beggar. But higher up in the Himalayas, a fakkad Mahatma is a monk who is a kind of a daredevil, who doesn't care for the world, is completely dependent on God, and absolutely has no care for the samsara of this world at all. So he says Gaudapada was like that, didn't care for anything. And then I said, then what about Shankaracharya? He said, Shankaracharya to Jagat Guru the na. Shankaracharya was a world teacher, so he had to carry everybody along. So his approach is a much more universal approach. We may think Shankaracharya is very non-dualistic, but actually several steps ahead of him is his Guru's Guru, Gaudapada Acharya. So Gaudapada points out something interesting in the 3rd chapter of the Mandukya Karika. He says, notice one thing. Duality is linked to the functioning of the mind. Where there is mind, there is duality. Where there is no mind, there is non-duality. There's a beautiful verse. He says, Mano drishyam idam dvaitam yat kinchit sacharacharam manaso Amani Bhave dvaitam naivopalabhyate. A beautiful verse which means this world is a projection of the mind or is experienced by the mind. This world, the word he uses is this duality. This duality is projected or experienced by the mind. What does he mean by duality? Yat kinchit sacharacharam. Anything what you see in this universe, moving and unmoving, living and non-living, everything is duality. This is experienced by the mind. Then, when the mind becomes no mind, manaso hi Amani Bhave. So he has this very beautiful phrase, Amani Bhava. It means the no mind state of the mind. No mind state, Amani Bhava. Then what happens? Dvaitam naivopalabhyate. Duality is no longer cognized. The words are very carefully chosen. He does not say duality is not experienced anymore. Upalabhyate. This is difficult to translate. It's a very loaded term in Sanskrit. Dvaitam naiva upalabhyate. But the basic idea we get from here is mind and no mind. This concept of no mind. When the mind becomes no mind, no more duality, non-duality, and no more samsara, moksha. So the problem of moksha and samsara, liberation from samsara, is actually the problem of Dvaita and Advaita, duality and non-duality. The problem of duality and non-duality is further reduced to the problem of mind, no mind. Amani Bhava. So what is this no mind? What is this no mind? Is it, clearly we saw when the mind does not function in deep sleep, there seems to be no duality. But then Gaudapada himself points out, the seed of duality is there in deep sleep because you wake out of deep sleep. And all of the things which you see in samsara are very much present there because they come back. If they didn't, every morning you would wake up fresh, completely blank, hard disk wiped out. Yeah. There was a cinema about this, Hollywood. I didn't see it, but I had read the review about it. That really struck me many, many years ago. It is called the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. The eternal sunshine of the spotless mind of a person who forgets everything and then wakes up fresh. So that would, but that does not happen. Every day we wake up with all the knowledge of the past. So the seed of the waking samsara is there in deep sleep. Deep sleep is not a solution. Then what is a solution? What about meditation, samadhi? The path of samadhi, the yogis, the Patanjali yogis, Raja yogis, what they do is, they say, yes, this samsara has to be wiped out. How does it have to be wiped out? When the mind is no mind, when you meditate, and all the modifications of the mind settle down, the world will not be perceived. There's a very important principle to grasp here. This is not what Gaudapada says. We are going to cut this down. But there's a very important principle to grasp here, which is very practical for our lives. I'll tell you something. Spirituality or no spirituality, yoga or no yoga, Vedanta or no Vedanta, all the samsara that you and I, what we experience, what we are experiencing right now, we are experiencing in our minds. Do you agree? You've read too much Vedanta, that's why you agree so. But think about it. Every experience that you have from the beginning till now, and whatever experience we will have from now on, all our experiences are experiences in the mind. Without mind, no experience. You will say, no, there are things outside and we are experiencing them. Actually, what is happening is, when you look at the flowers there, what is happening is light falls on those flowers and the light is reflected back to your eyes. It enters your eyes, and in the lens of the eyes an image is formed. And see, already at this stage, what has entered into your eyes is light, not the flower. If the flower entered your eyes, then you'd be blind. What enters our eyes are not people and flowers and trees and cars. No. That would be a disaster. Only thing that enters our eyes is light. And then what happens? The light, it just forms an image there, and then the image is, from there it is transferred to not light, electrical impulses in the neurons. There are neurochemicals which are working, and they generate little bursts of electricity between the synapses of the neurons, and that is transmitted from the optic nerves to the certain centers in the brain. So when it reaches the brain, no flower, not even light, not even an image, bursts, tiny bursts of electricity. That's what reaches the brain. And somehow from that, how we don't know. Neuroscientists also don't know. Just up to that point, they are beginning to understand a lot. But from that point onwards, it still is a mystery. How is that little bit of electricity reconstituted back into the living experience of a flower? Where? In your mind. So far, nobody in the world will dispute it. Even the most hardcore materialist, reductionist will say, yes, this is what is happening. We can't dispute that. Nobody says that actually a flower enters into your mind there. No. It is presented to your mind, to your consciousness as this flower. So this flower which you are seeing right now, you are seeing it in your mind. This flower is nothing but your mind, vritti, a thought in your mind. All of samsara, your most beloved person, the most annoying person you know, the best of experiences, the most miserable of experiences, all of them are in your mind. You say, no, they are outside and they are being represented in your mind. All right, that's a particular point, philosophical point of view. Representationism. That is one kind of philosophical point of view. But nobody will deny what you are experiencing in the mind. So what is the great secret that we can learn from this? Again, not our main subject today, but worthwhile learning this. Therefore, the quality of our experience depends on the mind, not really on the world outside. Our natural reaction, our natural way of trying to make our lives better is to trying to change the objective, things outside. A wiser person tries to change the subjective. Our whole perception of things and the way we understand and react to things inside the mind. One of the most beautiful things I've heard comes from a monk in the Himalayas who said, I'll tell you in Hindi and then translate into English. Shant man mein bhala sansar kaun dekha hai? Whoever has seen samsara in a peaceful mind. What is the great thing about this? Normally we think just the opposite. My mind is restless because samsara makes me restless. This monk says, you have samsara because your mind is restless. If your mind were peaceful, in the same situation, a person with peaceful mind will experience at least less suffering. Not that everything will go away, but suffering will definitely be less. Good deal of our suffering is our own contribution of our own minds. Again, I'm going a little off track, but it's worth mentioning here. A few years back, I attended a medical conference, not as a doctor, but I was invited to speak. The conference was on pain and management of pain. And one of the sessions was talk therapies, so counseling for pain management. And there were different people giving talks, counselors, doctors, patients suffering from chronic pain, so on. One of the doctors said something very interesting. He said, I'll let you into a dirty secret of the pharmaceutical industry. The painkillers, he said, some multi-billion dollar worldwide industry painkillers. He says the effectiveness is less than 50%. Less than half of the drugs have any effect at all. Some of it might be placebo effect, and less than half of it has any, and there are a lot of side effects. That is there. Side effects are guaranteed. And then he drew 3 circles. Pain. Big circle. This is for chronic pain. Continuously people who have different kinds of back pain, things like that. So big circle, inner circle, and the smaller circle inside. He said the smaller circle is the actual physical pain felt. And the bigger circle is the circle around it is the expectation of pain. Oh, it's going to hurt again, it's going to hurt again, it's going to be uneasy. The mental uneasiness and misery coming out of the pain, that is the bigger circle. That accounts for more of the total suffering than the actual physical pain. And the much bigger circle again around it are all the associated social problems, that I cannot go such and such place because I will have this pain, things like that. Many other things which are felt to be disabilities. So a good deal, he says, about 70 to 80% of our discomfort and suffering is contributed by our own minds. Only 20 to 30% is the actual physical pain. And the medicines, if they could work, they could only reduce that actual physical pain. They will not address the thinking of our minds. And even there also medicines don't work half the time. So anyway, back to the thing that our minds, samsara, a good deal of samsara is in the mind. The mind can be made into no mind. The yogi's solution is chitta vritti nirodha. Calm down the mind. When the mind is absolutely still, no samsara. So they call it samadhi. And they have 8 steps. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, you will see yama and niyama, the moral disciplines. Then how to sit steady. If you want to make the mind steady, the body must be steady. People are so restless. I met this young student a couple of years back. Brilliant, going to one of the Ivy League universities, and his parents introduced him. Very nice young man. But what I saw, he couldn't sit still. Even while standing and talking to me, he was jumping around. Steady. The mind has been compared to, you have a bowl with water in it. If you shake the bowl ever so little, the water will splash out. So imagine how steady you have to keep the bowl. Our bodies are always trembling and moving. One Olympic, the rifle shooting, he had written an article. He said we are not generally aware of how much our bodies are moving. It's only when you have to keep your body very, very still for the target shooting. Because a little trembling of the hand also can throw the bullet off several feet at the end of the target. So they have to be very still. And it's interesting to note that at the moment of releasing the bullet, they have to hold their breath. So pranayama. Yes, literally, they have to control the breathing. Now, asana, first how to sit steady. Then pranayama, how to control the breath. Why breath? Because it steadies the body and the mind. The breath is the link between, it's a subtle link between body and mind, the breath. So control of the breath. Then pratyahara, withdrawing the senses from the world outside, from their engagement in the world outside. Then dharana, dhyana, samadhi, deeper and deeper focus. First there is savikalpa samadhi, or in yoga system, sampragyata samadhi. And then finally nirvikalpa samadhi or asampragyata samadhi, when the mind is absolutely still. What do you get out of it? When the mind is absolutely still, they say, you see the witness, the real self beyond the mind becomes clear. So that's the yogi's approach. Shut down the mind. That's the yogi's approach. Gaudapada does not agree. No mind is not thinking. No mind is not shutting down the mind. No mind is not being inactive. What is no mind then? Amani Bhava, no mind, basically means managing the mind, spiritualizing the mind. This is the central question of spiritual life. Whether you are a devotee, whether you are on the path of knowledge, whether you are a Buddhist, whether you are a meditator, whatever it is, ultimately, whatever the philosophy, it comes down, the practical thing comes down to handling the mind. Therefore, you will see this question, what we are talking about today, no mind. This question was actually asked to Sri Ramakrishna by Master Mahashaya, M. We don't think about it that way because the Gospel of Ramakrishna is written in such a simple language. But the tremendous depth in that. I'll tell you what M asked. The very first question that M asked in his second visit. First visit, there was no chance of deep discussion. The first real discussion that M had with Sri Ramakrishna.